Hi, I'm Dr. Murkhan. So in this video, I'm going to share 6 billionaire skills that I wish I knew when I was 21. And essentially, these were the skills that I learned over the past 7 years as a physician and a software company CEO at True Talent Online. And I grew my software development company from a 0 to 100 plus employees. And I created healthcare telemedicine applications. And I help businesses with their tech needs and get them off the ground. So you will waste a lot of time on your way to building wealth if you have to figure this out on your own. The first thing I wish I had known when I was younger is we need to develop the ability to focus and concentrate. If you put all of your attention on one thing and become obsessed with that one thing. So I had this really big problem for many years when I was a teenager, especially where I wanted to, build a business or I wanted to build wealth in some way. I would be jumping around in so many different things. And I think the best way to explain this is I recently saw a video from Alex Hormozi. Let's say you have 10 units of energy. You give 1 unit of energy to your new Amazon business and the other unit of energy to maybe investing your money into the stock market and another unit into building your other businesses that you might be trying to start out. Let's say a landscaping business. All of these are different ways to go, but if you don't focus, none of them will lead you anywhere. So you can say, okay, well, if you have 10 units of energy, instead of giving these units of energy in all these different ways, we can just be focused and realistic and start going towards one thing, and then you see how far you go in that. And I think it took me a long time to actually figure this out. But once I realized that you don't have to be going around for different things, I became focused. For myself, being a physician, I went into a software development field, but it were healthcare mobile apps that I actually went into first. So this was an extension of my original expertise. So if you have a skill or you have a specific educational background, you can see how you can leverage those skills into a different fold and into a different business, but sticking with your original theme. Let's say, for example, I have this YouTube plaque right over here that you see. This is a health related channel. So basically I pivoted around my area of expertise. So basic idea is that if you stick to something that you have the skills for or you have the educational background for, then that is probably the best thing you can do. So having a particular skill or expertise is number one. But let's talk about what is going to be your stepwise process. Assuming you have some skills and you have the ability to learn from your mistakes. And that is going to be very important if you want to get into business. Let's take an example. Let's say you are great in cooking. Then you are looking to open your first restaurant. So you probably won't really know what you're doing first, but by the time you have opened your first restaurant, you will have learned all of the steps that are involved. You may have made mistakes and you overcame all those mistakes getting to your destination. This is just the basics of business and life. You will be making mistakes, but you have to get over them and learn from them. Now you can move on. You have your first restaurant, then you can replicate it sooner or later and you can have a franchise model going on. So if you stick to something, I think you will go a long way. The second thing I wish I had known much earlier was to embrace being strange. Embrace being strange in your own way. And I think if you really accept that and realize that, hey, I don't have to be like everyone else. For example, I was into tech from the very beginning. I would use anything to make my life easier or better. I would, of course, not buy the latest iPhone coming out every single year. That's not what I mean here. You don't need to be wasting money to be into tech. Second, I always had an eye for improving things. If I noticed an issue, I would always bring it up, and sometimes people would not have liked me to actually raise certain issues. For example, in my software business, one thing is very important. Coordination and management of projects is the cornerstone of any software business. And my developers were not communicating even though it was all online and on project management applications. So I instituted 5-minute morning huddles where 3 or 4 team members will go over their plan for the day and share any important issues. So if you stand out from the rest, you have any particular habits that can be helpful, you should stick to that and don't be afraid. Accept being a little different. This is especially important when it goes towards investing or starting a business. You know that if you do what everyone else does, let's say you follow a YouTuber who gives you online advice on investing, it probably will not end well, especially since everybody else is doing it. Most people probably won't beat the stock market if they do what everybody else is doing, because the stock market is made up of these people everybody else is putting their money in there, it's going to happen. That stock is going to crash sooner or later. So keep this in mind. Be genuine, be unique. The third thing I wish I could tell my 21-year-old self is to pay attention to numbers and keep a track of things. I have been keeping a $1 or back in the day, 50-cent pocketbook with me at all times for over a decade. I keep track of a lot of things since actually I was 18 years old. I always write down my daily task, and that helps me plan my day out. Of course, I see what was left to accomplish from the previous day. And every Sunday evening, I plan out my whole week and what are the essential things that I need to work on for the coming week. This has been a game changer with my Sunday evening routine, and I mark my things down and I cross things out when they are done. This has been a game changer. Then the fourth thing is to keep track of all of your money and your finances. You have to do this. I have been keeping track of things like my income, my debt, my investments. You need to clearly know how much money you have or how much money you owe, if that is the situation. And forever now, I have been keeping an app called Mint, and it is actually free, and no, they're not paying me for this. On Mint, M-I-N-T, I can see everything. My investments, my loans for my property business, my doctor income. Basically, I can see everything. So I am a big data person. I enjoy numbers. So if I go back to some point in my life, let's say 2010, I can see exactly how my finances were doing. It helps you grow so much, and you can't grow if you're just running around without knowing your numbers. You really cannot go in any direction without being able to see how things are going. So please just start doing this for 2023. I actually beg you, even if you don't learn anything in this video, just start writing things down. Keep track of your money. Write down your thoughts, write down your ideas, keep track of how much money you have. Just track what is your net worth. Keep a track of all of your debts, all of your assets, all of your liabilities, and you should figure all of this out. You should know where you are. So every year you can say, I did improve or I did lose some ground over here, and you can see what happened good, what happened wrong. Now, the fifth thing that I really wish I knew earlier was to develop a strong level of attention and focus for immediate things. You know that in this day and age, we have so much going on that we become restless and we need to be stimulated at all times, right? People can't even eat without playing a video, right? People don't eat breakfast without Netflix, YouTube, or TikTok. If you can master attention, you will have the upper edge. Because if you can train yourself to have attention and patience, you will have the patience when you work on your next or current business. Sad to say that our attention spans are so bad right now, you cannot sit down at your computer and not get distracted every 10 seconds. I mean, this is even worse than a goldfish. But I'm telling you that you're going to be having the upper edge because 99 out of 100 people don't have a strong hold over their attention. Their brains are scrambled. They're always thinking about different things, so they can't sit still or pay attention to anything. This is the reason why a lot of people can't succeed or get anything off the ground. So if you have patience and you can pay attention to something for 30 minutes at a time, like having the ability to not pick up your phone and give in to temptations of turning on your TV all the time, I think it will help you get to the next level. So keep this in mind. I think this will be very helpful in your journey. The sixth and the last thing I want to leave you with here today is to just focus on producing instead of consuming. So when I was in med school and I was trying to learn something, so instead of watching a YouTube video about how to treat asthma, I made my own video. I would read the textbook and then record a training video on it. This way, I was producing instead of consuming. It not only helped me learn better, but I also made money from it. That was actually my first YouTube channel on educating medical students about medicine. So instead of taking time to watch TikToks, why not make TikToks, right? So if you can flip that script, then suddenly you are the producer instead of the consumer of all of this media. Be the producer. So these are some of the different millionaire and billionaire skills that you can work on. And I think it could have a huge impact on your life. And this is what the doctor said. And I'm telling you today that you can do this. But if you really want to succeed and become a millionaire or a billionaire, these days you have to build your own personal brand. And check out this video where I will talk to you and walk you through the steps you can take to build your own personal brand. And if you like this content, you can subscribe right over here. Thank you so much. Bye bye.